Welcome back to the guidance of the light. Chosen one, stop what you are doing and pay attention. What I am about to share with you is not information you stumbled upon by chance. You have been called to this moment by forces beyond your understanding, by timing that was set in motion long before you clicked, long before you searched, long before you even realized you were seeking. There is no such thing as random encounters in the kingdom of heaven. Every divine connection is intentional. Every spiritual alignment is purposeful. And this one is no different. You are standing in what the ancients called kairos time. Not chronological time where minutes tick by on a clock, but appointed time where heaven breaks into earth, where the eternal invades the temporal, where what was spoken over you in secret is now ready to manifest in the open. Ecclesiastes 3:1 declares that to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. Beloved, your season is here. Your time has arrived. The waiting is ending. Listen carefully to what the Spirit is saying. The promise that seemed delayed was not denied. Habakkuk 2:3 reminds us that the vision awaits its appointed time. Though it lingers, wait for it will certainly come and will not delay. Even when heaven moves suddenly, it is never random. The timing is always perfect, always precise, always exactly when you are ready to receive it. This is your moment, not tomorrow, not next week. Right now, something divine is beginning to unfold, not in theory or imagination, but in reality, in the tangible realm where you live and breathe and make decisions. What I am declaring over you is already in motion. Heaven has initiated a process that cannot be stopped, reversed, or postponed. And it begins at a place you might not expect. It begins at your crown. When God intervenes in a human life, nothing remains unchanged. This is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual law. When divine purpose activates, transformation flows from the highest point downward, from the crown through the mind, from thought into action, from the internal to the external. Your crown is not merely the top of your head. In the spirit realm, it represents your thoughts, your identity, your authority, your spiritual covering. And right now, at this very moment, heaven is touching your crown with deliberate intention. What appears physical carries profound spiritual significance. Your crown has become a prophetic sign, a point of contact where the natural and supernatural intersect. The deepest changes rarely announce themselves with noise or fanfare. They begin quietly in hidden places beneath the surface. Before circumstances shift, mindsets shift. Before breakthroughs manifest externally, alignment happens internally. Before doors open in your career, your relationships, your finances, heaven adjusts the place where identity and direction converge. That place is your crown. And I am telling you with prophetic certainty, you are being touched right now. Let me share something personal, not from theology books or secondhand stories, but from lived experience. There was a season in my journey when everything felt misaligned. Even when externally it appeared successful, opportunities presented themselves, but they carried no peace. Doors opened, but walking through them felt heavy. Conversations happened, but they left me feeling more empty than fulfilled. I would look in the mirror and not recognize the person staring back at me, not physically, but spiritually. Something fundamental had shifted out of place. Though I could not articulate what it was or why it happened, I tried everything to fix it. I changed my routine. I read more. I prayed longer. I fasted. I sought counsel. but nothing seemed to touch the root of what was wrong. Then one evening, during prayer, not during some powerful worship service or spiritual conference, but alone in my room in an ordinary moment, I felt something I will carry with me forever. A gentle warmth settled on the top of my head. It was not dramatic. It was not accompanied by thunder or angelic choirs. It was soft, steady, undeniable, like a hand resting on my crown with perfect gentleness and perfect authority at the same time. I did not immediately understand what was happening, but I knew something divine had just occurred. And in the days and weeks that followed, everything began to realign. It started subtly. My thoughts cleared first. The mental fog that had clouded my judgment began to lift. My decisions sharpened. Choices that once paralyzed me with anxiety suddenly became clear. My emotions stabilized. The mood swings, the unpredictable reactions, the emotional exhaustion all began to settle into a steady peace I had not experienced in years. It was as though God had reached down and untangled something at the very root of my being. And once that root was set right, my entire life followed that internal adjustment. That is when I understood a profound truth. God does not always start where we think He should start. We want Him to fix our circumstances first. We want the job, the relationship, the breakthrough, the financial miracle. But God, in His wisdom, often starts at a place we overlook. He starts at the crown. He starts with our thoughts, our identity, our spiritual alignment. Because He knows that if the foundation is not right, we cannot sustain what He wants to give us. That is what is happening to you now. Heaven is restoring you from the crown downward, initiating a cascade of transformation that will touch every area of your existence. When your crown is touched, alignment returns to your entire being. Your vision becomes clear, not just spiritually, but practically. You begin to see opportunities you missed before. You recognize patterns you overlooked. You discern motives you once misread. Your thoughts begin to purify, not because you are trying harder to think positive thoughts, but because the source of your thoughts is being cleansed. The mental chaos that once consumed you, the racing thoughts that kept you awake at night, the anxious spirals that hijacked your peace, all of that starts to quiet down. Not by force, but by divine intervention. You begin hearing the voice of God more distinctly, not as a loud, audible voice, but as that gentle knowing that rises within your spirit. You sense His leading with less confusion, less second-guessing, less analysis paralysis. You recognize divine direction without needing 10 confirmations and 5 fleeces. Your discernment sharpens. Your intuition strengthens. Your spiritual antenna becomes more sensitive to what is of God and what is not. Your crown is not decorative or cosmetic. It is functional and strategic. It is spiritual headquarters, the command center of your entire being. And because of that truth, it has been under calculated, persistent, strategic attack. Think about it. Stress did not hit you randomly. It was aimed. Exhaustion was not coincidental. It was orchestrated. Shame did not just happen. It was planted. Comparison, worry, fear, confusion, all of these were precision strikes designed to knock you out of alignment, to cloud your vision, to weaken your spiritual authority, to keep you from stepping into what God has prepared for you. The enemy understood something many believers miss. If he could keep your crown under constant assault, if he could keep your thoughts in turmoil, your emotions unstable, your identity uncertain, he could delay your destiny indefinitely. because nothing moves forward in your life when your mind is in chaos. No doors open when your thoughts are clouded. No assignments are fulfilled when your identity is shaken. That is why the warfare has been so intense at the level of your mind. It was never about you being weak. It was about you being dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. Stress did not hit you randomly. Exhaustion was not coincidental. Shame, comparison, worry, and spiritual opposition targeted you with precision. These were calculated assaults designed to knock you out of alignment, to cloud your vision, to weaken your spiritual authority. But hear this word clearly. Chosen one, heaven is reversing every attack. What the enemy tried to diminish, God is now fortifying. What absorbed pain is now reflecting glory. What carried weight is now radiating light. Some of you have already begun to notice the shift. Your mind feels quieter, your sleep is deeper, your thoughts are lighter. Others may not sense it yet physically, but your spirit knows. There is life stirring beneath the surface. Something that felt dormant is waking up again. This is not your imagination playing tricks. This is divine impartation. Heaven is restoring what stress tried to steal and what sorrow attempted to bury. This renewal is not shallow or superficial. It goes deeper than appearance. It touches identity. Your crown represents authority, spiritual covering, divine calling. Shame is lifting. Heaviness is dissolving. Old lies are losing their grip. You are not just experiencing physical change. You are growing into wholeness. You are stepping into confidence rooted in truth, not performance. Your crown is beginning to shine, not for vanity, but for testimony. And if this word is stirring something deep within your spirit, let me know by dropping a comment below. Just type the words, "My crown is rising." Let that declaration go forth as a witness to what heaven is doing right now. This moment is also a signal of divine timing. Scripture tells us there comes a moment when God says, now, not soon, not eventually. Now, you are stepping into a window where heaven accelerates what was delayed. A supernatural transfer is being prepared not just in your finances, but in your spiritual authority. Promotion follows alignment. Increase follows clarity. Heaven does not pour new wine into unprepared vessels. That is why God begins at the crown. As this work continues, understand what is actually taking place. This is not only healing, this is resurrection. Something that felt dead is coming alive. Your discernment is sharpening. Your peace is becoming unshakable. Your confidence is no longer borrowed from circumstances. It is anchored in knowing who you are and whose you are. I have learned this through years of walking with God. He often restores the top before He expands the territory. He strengthens the mind before He opens the door. He aligns the crown before He releases the assignment. And when alignment returns, provision follows naturally. Opportunities recognize you. Favor finds you without striving. This is not hustle. This is positioning. Your crown is being reappointed, set apart, prepared for what is next. This is the beginning of something unstoppable. There is a reason heaven works at the level of your crown before anything else shifts visibly. God always addresses alignment before assignment, identity before increase. When your crown begins to transform, it signals that heaven is preparing you for weight, for responsibility, for influence, for assignments that cannot rest on confusion, insecurity, or spiritual weariness. What you are experiencing feels both gentle and intense because heaven is recalibrating you for elevation. Let me be direct and unambiguous. When God prepares someone for supernatural transfer, whether financial, spiritual, relational, or positional, He first strengthens their inner authority. He fortifies their foundation. He establishes their identity, because money without identity creates anxiety and fear of loss. Promotion without clarity creates pressure and performance traps. Influence without alignment creates moral collapse and spiritual compromise. Power without character creates corruption and destruction. That is why heaven is touching your crown first before anything else changes visibly. God is ensuring that when doors open, and they will open, you will not shrink back in fear. When opportunities present themselves, and they will, you will not self-sabotage out of insecurity. When favor shows up, and it is coming, you will not reject it because you feel unworthy. You are not behind schedule. You are not running late. You are not disqualified by your past or your mistakes. You are precisely where divine timing requires you to be at this exact moment. The waiting you endured, the delays that frustrated you, the closed doors that confused you, none of that was punishment from an angry God or evidence of His forgetfulness. It was preparation from a wise Father who knew you were not yet ready to carry what He was preparing to give you. I remember seasons, multiple seasons, where I prayed desperately for movement while God insisted on stillness. I wanted answers immediately, but heaven continued working on me internally, silently, invisibly. At the time, it felt agonizing. I questioned if God heard me. I wondered if I had disqualified myself somehow. I compared my timeline to others and felt left behind. Looking back now with the clarity that only time and experience can bring, I see it was mercy, pure, undeserved mercy. God was stabilizing me, strengthening my foundation, establishing my identity so I could carry what was coming without collapsing under its weight, without being corrupted by its power, without losing myself in its influence. That is precisely what is happening for you in this season. Your crown is being stabilized, not just touched and left alone, but anchored, rooted, established. Your thoughts are being trained to rest instead of race, to trust instead of panic, to believe instead of doubt. Your emotions are learning how to respond with wisdom instead of react out of wounding, how to process instead of suppress, how to feel without being controlled by feelings. This is not random emotional maturity or generic personal development. This is supernatural conditioning orchestrated by heaven. God is teaching you how to remain grounded, centered, and stable. While blessing begins to accelerate around you, while doors start opening rapidly, while favor begins multiplying in your life, your crown rising is not just about you feeling better. It is about you being ready. When supernatural transfer comes, it arrives with acceleration. Doors that were sealed for years suddenly unlock in weeks. Relationships that felt distant suddenly align overnight. Provision that seemed impossible suddenly flows with ease. But if your mind is not prepared, if your identity is not secure, if your crown is not aligned, that acceleration will feel like chaos instead of blessing. That is why this process cannot be rushed. God is making sure you are ready to carry what He is about to release. Pay attention to the small shifts. Your patience is increasing. Your reactions are slowing down. Your need for external validation is decreasing. These are not minor adjustments. These are signs that your crown is stabilizing. When your crown is stable, your entire life becomes stable. Decision-making becomes clearer. Relationships become healthier. Your sense of purpose becomes sharper. Here is what I want you to understand about this process. What God is doing at your crown is creating a foundation for everything else. Your crown governs your thoughts. Your thoughts govern your words. Your words govern your actions. Your actions govern your habits. Your habits govern your destiny. That is why the enemy fought so hard to keep your crown under attack. He understood that if he could keep your thoughts clouded, your words defeated, your actions inconsistent, he could delay your destiny indefinitely. But heaven is ending that cycle right now. The attacks on your mind, the intrusive thoughts, the anxiety spirals, the shame cycles, they were never about your weakness. They were about your calling. The enemy does not waste energy on people who pose no threat. He targets those who carry assignments that will shift atmospheres, influence generations, and establish kingdom foundations. Your crown was under assault because your future is significant. But that season is over. Heaven is fortifying what was fragile, strengthening what was weak, restoring what was broken. If you are feeling this shift in your spirit, let the community know. Drop a like on this video so others can find this message. Share it with someone who needs to hear this word today. Your obedience to share could be the very thing that shifts someone else's season. Some of you are already noticing changes in how you dream. Your dreams are becoming clearer, more vivid, more directional. This is not random. When your crown aligns, your spiritual discernment sharpens. Dreams are one of the primary ways heaven communicates with you. And when your crown is under attack, that communication line gets disrupted. But as your crown is restored, heaven is reopening channels that were blocked. Start paying attention to your dreams. Write them down. Pray over them. Ask for interpretation. Heaven is speaking to you in the night seasons with clarity you have not experienced in years. Others are noticing shifts in your focus. Tasks that used to overwhelm you now feel manageable. Projects that felt impossible now seem achievable. This is not because the difficulty decreased, it is because your capacity increased. When your crown aligns, your ability to process, organize, and execute expands. You are not working harder, you are operating from alignment. And alignment always produces better results than effort alone ever could. Your crown being touched is also affecting your relationships. You are beginning to discern with accuracy who belongs in your life and who does not. Not with judgment or harshness, but with clarity. Some relationships are naturally fading because they no longer match your frequency. Others are being drawn to you because they recognize what heaven is doing. Do not force what is leaving. Do not chase what is fading. Trust the process. God is aligning your circle with your calling. The right people will stay. The wrong people will go. And new connections are coming that will accelerate everything God is building. Let me say this clearly. You are entering a season where your presence will carry weight. When you walk into rooms, atmospheres will shift. Not because you are trying to perform or impress, but because of what you carry. Your crown being restored means your authority is being restored. And authority does not announce itself, it simply is. People will feel peace around you. Confusion will lift in your presence. Clarity will come when you speak. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. When you are aligned with heaven, you become a conduit of heaven's presence. I want you to prepare yourself mentally for acceleration. Things that took years in previous seasons will happen in months in this new season. Doors that were locked will suddenly open. Opportunities that seemed out of reach will suddenly become available. Provision that felt impossible will suddenly manifest. But you must stay grounded. Acceleration can feel disorienting if you are not prepared. That is why God starts with your crown. He is making sure you have the mental and spiritual capacity to steward what He is about to release without losing yourself in the process. Here is a key I have learned. When God accelerates blessing, the enemy accelerates distraction. You will need to guard your focus like never before. Not everything that glitters is gold. Not every opportunity is divine. Not every open door is meant for you. Your crown being aligned means your discernment is sharp. Use it. When peace accompanies a decision, move forward. When peace lifts, pause. Let peace be your guide. It will protect you from detours that look like destinations. Your finances are about to respond to the order that is being established internally. Money flows where order exists. Chaos repels provision, but order attracts it. As your crown stabilizes, as your thoughts align, as your decisions sharpen, you are creating internal structure that can hold financial increase. I am not talking about hoping for money. I am talking about being ready to steward it. There is a difference. Hope without readiness leads to loss, but readiness with faith leads to overflow. Pay attention to the doors that are beginning to crack open. They may not be the doors you expected. They may not look impressive at first, but do not despise small beginnings. God often tests faithfulness in small things before entrusting larger things. Walk through the doors that open with humility and excellence. Steward what is in your hand with integrity, and watch how heaven multiplies what you thought was insignificant. Some of you are about to step into roles you once thought were reserved for others. Leadership positions, creative platforms, business opportunities, ministry assignments. You used to look at others and think they were more qualified, more experienced, more anointed. But that was comparison speaking, not truth. Heaven has been preparing you in hidden places, and now, in this season, you are being brought forward, not because you earned it, but because you are ready for it. Let your faith rise as you hear these words. Comment below, I receive this word. Let that be your declaration of agreement with what heaven is releasing over your life right now. Your crown being touched is restoring your voice. Some of you have been silent for years, not because you had nothing to say, but because shame, fear, and rejection silenced you. But that season is over. Your voice is being restored. Your confidence to speak is returning. What you have to say matters. Your perspective is valuable. Your testimony is powerful. And in this next season, you will no longer shrink back when it is time to speak. You will open your mouth with wisdom, and the law of kindness will be on your tongue. I want to speak to those who have felt invisible, overlooked, forgotten, passed by. Heaven sees you. You have not been forgotten. Your time is not past. What looks like delay has been divine positioning. God has been working behind the scenes, arranging things in your favor, shifting pieces on the chessboard that you could not see. And now in this season, you are about to step into visibility, not because you are promoting yourself, but because heaven is promoting you. Here is what I know with certainty. God does not anoint people and then abandon them. He does not call people and then forget them. He does not prepare people and then leave them on the shelf. If He touched your crown, it is because He is preparing you for assignment. If He is restoring your mind, it is because He is about to open doors that require clarity. If He is stabilizing your emotions, it is because he is about to release blessing that requires steadiness. Do not let the enemy whisper lies about your worthiness. You are not disqualified because of your past. You are not unworthy because of your mistakes. You are not unfit because of your struggles. God specializes in using flawed people to accomplish perfect purposes. Your weaknesses do not disqualify you. They position you for grace. Your struggles do not diminish you. They prepare you for empathy. Your past does not define you. Your future does. As we move toward the close of this word, I want to pray over you, not a religious prayer filled with empty words, but a heartfelt declaration spoken from a place of faith and authority. May the peace of God that surpasses all understanding guard your heart and mind. May clarity rest upon every decision you face. May strength rise up from deep within your spirit and sustain you through every challenge. May joy flood your soul and become your constant reality. May favor surround you like a shield and open doors no human can close. May provision locate you with precision and overflow in every area of lack. May relationships that align with your calling be drawn to you, and relationships that hinder your purpose gracefully fade away. May your voice be restored with boldness, and your words carry weight in every room you enter. May your gifts make room for you and bring you before great people. May your steps be ordered by heaven and your path be made straight. May every weapon formed against you fail, and every tongue that rises against you be silenced. May you walk in the fullness of your identity, the power of your anointing, and the confidence of your calling. May your crown rise and remain covered by the glory of God, chosen one. You are not leaving this moment the same way you entered it. Something shifted as you received this word. Heaven has touched your crown with purpose, with power, with intention. And what began here will continue to manifest in your life with momentum that cannot be stopped. You are marked, you are chosen, you are anointed, you are appointed, you are covered, you are ready. Walk forward from this moment with your head held high, not in arrogance, but in assurance, not in pride, but in confidence. You know who you are, you know whose you are, and you know that what God has started, He will finish. Your crown is not fading. It is not weakening. It is rising. It is shining. It is radiating with the glory of the Most High God. Go forth in your authority. You are heaven-sent, spirit-led, and divinely covered. If this word resonated with your spirit, let me know in the comments. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, and stay connected so you never miss what heaven continues to release. Until we meet again, stay blessed, stay aligned, and keep walking in your anointing. Your crown is ascending. Together, we rise toward the light.